This is the Viscount Stable, and today I'm going to be talking about steakhouses in Los Angeles. There are a lot of great places you can grab a steak in Los Angeles, and as I only eat red meat once in a while, when I do order red meat, I want it to be an exceptional experience in terms of both dining experience and the actual quality of the meat. There are a lot of restaurants from the old classic steakhouses like Lowry's and Martin's to the new, more modern, cutting edge, sophisticated places like Boa or Cut. And I'm going to talk about two that I had the best experiences in Los Angeles during my recent stays. The two that I'm going to talk about are Cut and Morton's, both of which proved to be exceptional, but for completely different reasons. Cut, generally speaking, is a fantastic restaurant in terms of food and service, I would say. The one thing I don't like about Cut is the actual dining room. The dining room is a Richard Meier design, and to me it feels a little bit too much like eating at the perfume counter at Neiman Marcus. It has exceptional quality steak. The provenance of the steak is readily available, and your ability to choose from a wide range of meats from around the world is exceptional. It is great in terms of the side dishes. It's great in terms of the alternative dishes. It's great in terms of bread, wine list, everything that you can possibly imagine. It's just the particular dining room that doesn't jive well with me. I tend to prefer, if I'm going to eat at Cut, to eat at the bar, which is more inviting, a little more engaging, a little more relaxed, and you can order from the menu, same menu as the restaurant, in the bar. So if I'm eating at Cut, I tend to prefer to plant myself at the bar with a good cocktail and order there. Morton's stands above Cut in one key area, as far as I'm concerned, and that is the quality of the actual filet steak. Now, I'm saying this sort of with mixed feelings because Cut is an exceptional experience. But Morton's meat, generally speaking, was more tender, more flavorful, and a better experience than any of the other restaurants that I mentioned. And so while I would highly recommend Cut as a restaurant, I would definitely recommend Morton's for their filet, which I found exceptional. There was one downside to Morton's, which on one occasion I was eating there with a friend, and being a traditional steakhouse restaurant, much like Lowry's, Morton's use a trolley to bring around the meats and to display their goods and allow you to choose from the cart. One of my guests, however, felt that the lobster, the live lobster, with his little elasticated claws and little feet sort of wiggling around in the middle of the air in the dining room, was somewhat antiquated and cruel. While I don't completely disagree with this, I did find it slightly ironic that he would be complaining about such a thing in an environment that was otherwise filled with lots of dead carcasses. And to that end, he simply didn't have any problem eating the meat on his plate. This experience aside, there are two exceptional restaurants, Cut and Morton's. I have other favorite places. Everybody has a favorite place, whether it be for hamburgers, coffee, steak. I have yet to find a favorite place in London for a steak. Good news is that Cut will be opening soon in London, and I will certainly be a regular there, as I am a big fan of Wolfgang Puck's. Morton's is also in London, and although I haven't visited it yet, I also have a number of recommendations from friends and people that I know around London who have suggested places that I go to get a good steak, and I shall be following up on those in the months to come. I have other favorite. Morton's, for example, reminds me very much of one of my all-time favorites. Now, I know it's closed at the moment for renovation, so it might be open now. But Moishes in Montreal, which is truly a wonderful steakhouse, and my all-time favorite classic steakhouse is the Metropolitan Bar and Grill in Seattle, which still ranks as my favorite steakhouse in the world. Again, everybody sort of has their favorite coffee place, whatever. These would be mine, but in the city of Los Angeles, and in this case, both Morton's and Cut happen to be in Beverly Hills. But there are many Morton's locations around the world, and Cut is rapidly growing. So good news for all those who would like to try either one. In terms of overall experience, if you're going to look for a restaurant that needs to please everybody, I would go with Cut. But if you're looking simply to have a fabulous steak and you don't particularly care that the side dishes are sort of the old standard classics, steakhouse classics, and the souffles and things like that have have been tried and tested over decades, then I would skip the side dishes at Morton's and stick with, well, I would order a bigger steak at Morton's and just stick to the steak. At Cut, I would indulge in everything they have on their menu. In either case, I think you're going to have a wonderful experience, and you'll find both restaurants exceptional value for money and a great place to have a steak.